Hello everyone, I'm Uberswe, and in this video we will be building a windmill that produces bread. This is the fourth build of my 30-day create mod build challenge, which is a challenge you can participate in. What you see here is my world that I'm building in, and it's starting to get a bit populated. Eventually it will fill up with 30 different builds that are all built using the create mod. Here's a list of all the different things I'll be building as part of this video series. I'm also including a link in the video description below to the mod pack that I'm using that has this map and chart of all the builds. But let's get started with our windmill. Now the first thing we're going to do is, as we do with every build, we're going to replace all the moss blocks here with grass blocks. Now to get us started, I'm going to get a gearbox and then a mechanical bearing. We'll get a water wheel along with some water, some stone to plan our layout with, and some oak planks, and finally a plow. The reason for the plow is that it makes it super easy to mark out a circle. Now I'm just going to quickly do some measuring here to find the center of our area. And once we've found the center, I'm going to dig down a bit so we can place our water wheel. And then we can place down some water right above the water wheel here. And now we have rotation. And then we'll just stick the bearing on top of it like so. And we'll build out some oak planks on the side here. And I'll make sure to keep these 10 in length. And once we have that, we can place our plows on the side here. And then we'll make sure we glue our plows to the planks, and then the planks have to be glued all together all the way back to the mechanical bearing, like so. Now this is going to move pretty fast, but if we right click our mechanical bearing like so, it will start making a circle. And if we fly up, we can now see how large our farm is going to be. So this is going to be the area of our wheat farm here, and I will build the windmill in the middle of this. But first I need to place down some water here so the dirt doesn't go away. Because if you don't have water, it's going to turn back to grass. And as you can see, now all of it's getting darker here. That means it's hydrated and it's not going to turn back into dirt. We can now go ahead and stop this contraption by right-clicking on the mechanical bearing, just like so. And then we can go ahead and destroy everything we built up to this point. Because we're not going to need this. Everything's going to be powered via a windmill later. So we'll come back to this part. We're going to grab a shaft and just build up from the center here. This is the shaft that we're going to be connecting to our windmill bearing, so I need to build this up pretty tall here so that our windmill has enough room to spin. And then we'll put a gearbox right here and rotate it by right-clicking with a wrench, and then we'll continue putting the shaft forward like that. Then we're going to get a windmill bearing, and we're going to place that at the end of our shaft, just like so. We can then place some oak planks in the center and grab some sails, which we'll just attach to the side like this. And we need at least 8 sails in order for our windmill to have power. If you don't want to use sails, you can also use wool blocks or sail frames. But now that we have some sails, we can go ahead and right-click our bearing, just like so, and we can see that our windmill is working, and the shafts are getting rotated, which means we have power going all the way down to the bottom there. And if we grab a speedometer, we can see how fast our shafts are moving, and it's currently rotating at just 1 RPM, which is pretty slow. But we want it to be slow because it's going to power our harvesters down here. So let's dig this out a little bit here. And we can also get rid of our plows here as we won't be needing them anymore. And then we can go ahead and put a mechanical bearing underneath our shaft, rotate it by right-clicking with a wrench, just like so. And this is going to be rotating our harvesters. All we need to do now is build out a little bit of oak planks here. And then we're going to clear out some space around this area. And finally, I'm going to use some iron bars just to kind of make a transparent way to go up through the ground here. Basically, our other oak planks that are already here are going to be below ground. And then we're going to have some oak planks above ground, which is going to hold our harvesters and kind of roll along the upper area. So we're kind of hiding the mechanism that's rotating the harvesters up here and just making it look like these are going on their own outside. I think it will make more sense as I cover everything up. Let's get some super glue again to glue everything together. We can get rid of our old glue here. And now we'll glue this just like that. Make sure to get the iron bar there, glue that together, and then we'll glue this. I actually make a small mistake here with my glue, but we're going to fix that after I add my harvesters. So this is editing Uber talking. So let's get our harvesters here, and we'll just place those on the front of our oak planks, just like so. And then once those are placed, we need to glue them to our oak planks, which you can do like this. And now we can also go back and fix the glue that we messed up. So we'll remove the glue on the iron bar here, and then we'll glue from the bottom to the top all the way so that it's all connected. And then we can right click on the bearing with an empty hand and everything will start moving. And as you can see, it kind of looks like the harvesters are just moving on top of the terrain. You can't really see the iron bar or the oak planks underneath. So I thought this was kind of a cool feature. And these will be moving around the outside of the windmill that we're going to build now. I'm using spruce stairs, fens, and trapdoors to decorate the sails, and then a mix of sails and white wool for the functional bits. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe. It helps me a lot. And we are done. I really like the way this turned out. It's definitely one of the best windmill sails I've ever done. But now that the sails are built, it's time to glue everything together. Here, it's really important that everything is connected. Make sure that you glue your partial blocks that are easy to miss, such as the trapdoors. You also can't glue blocks diagonally, so that is something to keep in mind. And now it's time for the moment of truth. Did we glue everything correctly, and will it rotate? Let's right click our bearing with an empty hand to see if it works. Nice. It looks like we glued everything correctly, but I feel that it's spinning in the wrong direction. So we'll just change the setting here on the bearing to reverse the rotation, just like so. And I think it looks really good. We now have a working windmill. This is a fairly large windmill and should be giving us about 4,000 stress units of power. Now the windmill is rotating faster because it got larger. So if we look down here, we can see that I added a bunch of cogs to reduce the speed. And the speed is now 1.25 RPM. But now that our sail is done, I think it's time for a time lapse where we build the overall structure. Here's our finished windmill now. So we have the windmill itself with the sails here. And down here we have the harvesters with all the wheat. So they just constantly go around and farm any of the wheat that grows here. And if we look on the inside, I've actually made a bread making setup here. So let's check out the downstairs first. Down here you can see the contraption itself. So the harvesters are connected here and gathering all the wheat that goes in the chest here. And then the portable storage interface connects here to empty the wheat. And you can see that it's moving at 1.25 RPM. You can see the portable storage interface here. This is where everything gets taken up through the chutes. And the way that everything is moved upwards here is because there's a fan up here And that fan is sucking air. Then everything that gets sucked up here gets emptied here. So you have the wheat and the wheat seeds that go here. And once we have some wheat, it goes on the belt here, and then it goes into the millstone. Any wheat seeds are filtered out using this toolbox here. They all go into the funnel there. And once we have some wheat flour from the crushed wheat, it will go in here, and then it will get turned into dough because it's being washed. So once we have dough, the dough is going to go down here one level below, and the dough is getting baked and turned into bread via this campfire here and the fan. And once this is turned into bread, which should only take a few seconds, then it's stored here in the chest. So we basically have an infinite amount of bread here. And now it's time to check out some of the builds our community members have submitted. And just for fun, I am going to be switching on shaders. So let's head over there and check it out now. Now the first build that we're going to look at from our community here is a build by Kua SR, and it's another windmill. And the sails actually look kind of similar to the ones that I made. A very nice looking here. We have the structure of the building here, and then we have a wheat farm here on the side. And this wheat farm is powered by a minecart contraption, so you have the minecart going back and forth here using some accelerator rail right there. And then you have the harvesters just activating in whichever direction it's working in. And then we have a portable storage interface here, which is dumping all the items inside. And if we walk inside here, we can see the entire setup. We have the power from the windmill coming down here, and I believe it is powering everything in here. We have a millstone, which is going to turn wheat into wheat flour. Yeah, so wheat, and so you'll have wheat and wheat seeds will come in here, and then it will go into this storage here. We'll have wheat seeds going in here, getting crushed, getting destroyed basically, and then the actual wheat itself will go out this way and also get crushed in here into wheat flour. And then the wheat flour is going to go up here, and I believe we have to go on the outside now. Yeah, and then from the back here, we can walk in, and you'll see here that items get shot up here into this item vault. And I believe I have to connect this like so. And then we'll have our wheat flour getting mixed with water in here, and that's going to make dough. And then the dough is going to go into this item vault here. I believe I have to place it and pick it up and place it to make it work. And then our dough is going to go out here, get cooked using the campfire, and that's going to turn it into bread. And then the bread is going to fall down again, and I believe if we walk downstairs and we walk down here again, I think there is a chute here where the bread falls down, and we now have bread in our chest here. So this was a really nice build made by Kua SR. Thank you so much for submitting your build, and now we're off to look at the next build. This next build is a windmill built by FJ7G, and it's a fairly giant structure. We've seen structures from FJ7G before. They've also been tall like this, so I guess this is kind of a theme they're going with for their like village or city or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we have a windmill up here, which is giving power. I don't think there's really anything inside the tower. We have some stairs leading up. And then we have a shaft going down here to provide power to the lower section. And if we go all the way down here, you'll see there's a little button here on the front. And if we click this, you can see a door opening. So first it gets pushed in, and then it slides to the side. And it's actually like more than just the wall. So it's sliding all of that. And yeah, now we can go inside to the interior. I don't think there's like much more in here, but yeah, I think it's a really cool feature to have that door. And if you go here and you press this button again, it should slide back into place, I believe. Now, the way this door works is you have one piston here, which is getting activated with this sequence gear shift here. So it's moving 1 meter when it receives a redstone signal from this redstone link here. And the power is coming from this windmill. And then, so that's activated first. And then like a few seconds later, the long piston here is activated. And this will move everything that's connected to this piston as well. So it moves both the piston and the wall itself. So if we go back here and activate this, we can actually see how it works. So first that wall slides back, and then this is activated, and you have the entire wall and all the contraption and everything just sliding back. So a really cool setup for this build. And now I think I'm stuck in here. I don't know if there's a way for me to get out. I'm sure we'll find our way out eventually. So thank you so much, FJ7G, for submitting this build. It's been really fun to look at. And let's hop over to the next build. Last but not least, we have a build by Ender Barbecue, which is a little bit more modern. This is a pretty large windmill. I guess it's like a wind turbine is the right word for it. So this is like a wind turbine you would either have in like open fields or maybe like out in the water, for example. Personally, I live in Sweden, but I've traveled often to Denmark, for example, and you see tons of these out in the water as you're driving along the coast. So a bit of a modern build, very cool. I like the industrial iron, I believe it is, that's behind here, you know, to add a little bit of extra there. And then if you want to use this for power, there is a shaft here, or like a gearbox, where you can connect whatever you need to get power from this. That's going to be all for this video. Hopefully you learned how to make a crate mod windmill. If you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe. In the next video, I will be building a crate mod storage system, so stay tuned for that.